Get off the track and into the streets. Camden Entertainment and Naira Bets are proud to present At the Post Live, Serling on Saratoga. A weekly behind-the-scenes discussion throughout the Saratoga horse racing season. Hosted by nationally recognized racing expert and analyst Andy Serling. Tonight's show is also brought to you in part by Capital OTB and the Daily Racing Form. Now, live from the Parting Glass Pub in downtown Saratoga, here's Andy Serling.
Thanks a lot, everybody, and thanks for coming down to the Parting Glass, and appreciate everybody listening. It's the 6th season of At the Post Live. Kicks off tonight, and excited to be back in Saratoga and a lot to look forward to. Very excited to have our first guest back. He's been a favored guest on this show, and I remember when he got hurt at Belmont a couple of years ago, the first thing I thought, after I was worried about him being safe, I thought, who am I going to get to come on At the Post Live? Because Rajiv Miraj is our best guest on At the Post Live, so who better to kick off the season than Rajiv? Thanks a lot, Raj.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to be back in Saratoga?
Yes, definitely.
You got back here like once or twice the last 2 seasons?
Last meet I got to visit for a couple of days, and I enjoyed it, but there's nothing like being here and riding and being able to ride, so I'm excited about that.
Been really 3 seasons, 2014.
Yeah, too long, but thankfully I'm here this year and healthy enough to ride.
Feels like Wicked Strong won the Jim Dandy with you that year, is that correct?
Yes, that was the year.
Is that your last winner?
Probably.
Actually, you did pretty well. You rode Irish War Cry, right? That worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's been working out good.
He's running a Monmouth in the Haskell next Sunday, is that correct?
Correct.
That's nice.
Very excited.
No one expand on that? Riding the Derby, coming back, you're out for like 2 years, you win the Wood Memorial, you rode in the Kentucky Derby. Was he favored in the Derby?
Yeah.
Despite you riding? Imagine if you had a good rider on him.
It would have been a big favorite.
Talk about that. How great was that going to the Derby? And, especially after being out for so long. You've ridden the Derby before, right?
Yes, it was a bit surreal because everything was happening so fast. I was only back riding in November and trying to make my way back to full health and build back my business as well. And it was kind of a surprise. Like I talked to you before the winter meet started in New York. I was considering going to Florida or staying in New York. I was kind of up on the fence.
You had a Twitter poll.
Yeah, and I had a Twitter poll, and it was
very close. Yeah.
It was close too. So my decision of staying in New York in the winter, one of the things that I thought that was going to be off the radar was getting a chance to ride Triple Crown horses and like top turf horses, because obviously we don't have turf in New York in the winter, and a lot of the better horses go to Florida for the Triple Crown campaign. And I was just so fortunate that whatever the sequence that happened where I saw him, Irish War Cry, run in Florida, and he won so impressively, and I admired his talent. And it so happened that I ended up riding him in the Wood Memorial and getting lucky and winning there and going into the Derby with the favorite. And it was like a lot of things happening really fast.
And there was a moment in the Derby where you really thought you had a very good chance to win. Probably pretty late in the race, even.
Yeah, coming around the turn, I was really thinking that I was going to win the race. He was moving so strong, and I got very, very excited, thinking that I was going to win. And unfortunately, he didn't sustain his run that day. But I thought it was still a great accomplishment for me personally to be in the Derby only 5 or 6 months after being injured, to where it was hard for me to think that I would ever be riding and being in the Derby with a favorite.
And riding for Grant Motion, who's a close personal friend of yours and Angie's and stuff, that was pretty cool too. I think that was really nice for both of you.
Oh yeah, it makes it very memorable, and always good to be riding for him. He's one of the top trainers in America, and I'm just fortunate to have a support from guys like that.
And hopefully, if things go well in the Haskell, he'll be heading to Travers afterwards. It could be the war of wars, that race.
Yeah, I mean, the Haskell is shaping up to be a really big race. There's a lot of good 3-year-olds all over the country right now, and Irish War Cry is among the top. But there's definitely some fierce competition in the Haskell, and then if we are fortunate enough to win that race and move on to the Travers, I think it could make for a showdown of probably the best 3-year-old. It could really be a deciding race for champion 3-year-old, because I think that there's a lot of horses out there that show that they can be the top 3-year-old, but no one has definitively claimed that spot yet. So hopefully we have a good campaign with him.
Well, he ran very well in the Belmont, a tough beat for second. How exciting is it to be back here and riding in Saratoga the first time in a few years?
Oh, it's really exciting.
Your fan club's here.
Thank you. So, it's hard to describe the excitement. It's a little different than in previous years. Obviously, it's always... I feel like I'm very fortunate to be riding on this circuit, to be able to go from Saratoga, Belmont, Gulfstream, some of the best tracks. That
Wait a second, you're not going to Florida this winter after last winter, are you?
I might.
It was so great having you there, though. It's really... leaving us.
It's a win-win situation for me, I think. You know, if I stay in New York in the winter, I can do good. And also if I go to Florida, it's a hard decision, but I see positive both ways.
Sure.
But that's a long way from now.
Right.
You know, business leads you different places, and it's hard to plan so far ahead in this business for me. But for this meet, I'm really excited and just, you know, looking forward to the opportunity to perform here, and hopefully I'll have a good meet.
Yeah, it's
stay safe.
Yeah, it's tough here. I mean, because I think everybody, I mean, Brad Cox will be on next, and I'm sure for him, and you have some success here. I think the success here must be much sweeter than anywhere else, because you're always going to be a little afraid you're going to embarrass yourself up here, because it's not hard to do for any of us.
Well, you know, the competition is fierce, but as a jockey, and just as my nature has always been competitive, I've always loved sports, and I think Saratoga for me really brings out that extra drive in me, and you know, I really always look forward to that.
So we talked a little bit. I've been doing some podcasts across the board, and Raj and I did one together. We had a lot of fun talking about how you got into the game and started with your family. My favorite stories were working in poker clubs. Were you working in gambling clubs? We talked about that.
Well, we weren't supposed to disclose that.
But you already did. It's out there. It's on the podcast. It's there forever. You didn't get any trouble for that, did you?
I don't want to get in any trouble.
I think its statute of limitations has run out of that.
Okay.
I think you're fine.
Yeah, so like when I was in high school, a family member of mine had a poker game that was, you know, not really.
You were kind of like Spider in Goodfellas, right?
I keep telling you, I didn't see that movie.
How's you not seen Goodfellas?
I grew up in Jamaica. You missed that part? We don't have Goodfellas.
People in Jamaica have seen Goodfellas.
No, you know.
You haven't. Wait a second.
We watch Cool Runnings. Have you seen Cool Runnings?
I have seen Cool Runnings.
That's what we watch in Jamaica.
That's the only movie. It's on loop.
Yeah.
the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah.
When is the last time you lived in Jamaica? How old were you when you last lived in Jamaica?
I think like 15 years old.
Okay. Right. So you've been in the States long enough to have seen Goodfellas. You just went back to Jamaica. Are you like a big celebrity there?
They treat me really good.
You gotta be, right?
Yeah, most Jamaicans, local people, they always tell me that they're proud of me, and they recognize me wherever I go there, and they treat me really well. So
the Jamaicans are the greatest racing fans there are. I mean,
yeah,
they are.
They're
you
really
guys just don't go to the track in New York. You don't know about the Jamaicans. They're the best.
Yeah, they're really excited about.
Best.
Yeah, it's the biggest spectator sport in Jamaica. Actually, is the horse race, and it's all over the island there, and they all follow it and stuff. So being a Jamaican jockey riding overseas, for them, you know, they really enjoy watching me ride and follow me.
So it must be kind of cool. Like people go, there's Rajiv Mirage, you're like in there because you went like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. So I visit Jamaica in July, I think June or July last month. So they have these you could be driving down the street and there'll be people cooking on the side of the road, and you could go buy some jerk chicken and stuff, right? So it was like about 9 p.m. and I pulled up to this spot with a friend of mine. He said, "This is the best jerk chicken." So we pulled up, and I get out of the car, and I walk up, and I'm like, "Yeah, I want some jerk chicken." And the guy says, "You're the guy that ride Irish War Cry in the Derby, right?" Marad. Like, yeah, that's me. Okay.
That's great.
So it was pretty. I didn't expect him to recognize me.
So it's kind of like Saratoga.
Yeah, kind of like Saratoga. Yeah.
Like Saratoga and Jamaica, they're sort of sister cities, you know, sister places, right? The two places where they like us actually, where they recognize us. So you know, I always have some other riders up here and talk about this. I think the jockeys room is something that doesn't get talked about that much. What is it like, the competitive nature? Because you're friendly, obviously, with these guys, but you're all competing against each other. How is that in the jocks room? Does it ever get heated? Is it tough? Is it confrontational? How do you guys deal with that?
Well, there's a certain kind of etiquette that you need in the jockey's room, being a jockey, because...
That's why I couldn't be a jockey.
Yeah, it's very competitive, but also...
and I'm chicken.
We spend time, because we share the same locker room. It's very unique to any other sport that you're competing against each other out on in the field or on the track, but and you got to share the same locker room. So, and there's a lot of money on the line, and your safety and all that. So there's a lot of tension sometimes, but at the end of the day, we have to be like a family together, because we spend more time with each other as jockeys than we do with most of our family. So, there's a fine line between keeping your cool but not letting people walk over you because you're competing. But so there's a definite different kind of etiquette you need to understand when you're a jockey, and respect each other in a certain way. But it is very competitive and fierce.
Tempers flare ever?
Oh, there's always going to be tempers flare, and we actually do really well, I think, to manage ourselves. Because there's a lot more times that things happen that I think most times it could get worse, and we manage ourselves to keep settled and not get over the line with each other.
I think there's a misconception by people sometimes. They don't realize how competitive you guys are, and they'll think like, oh, this guy is sort of letting his friends win and stuff. And I don't know, but it just feels like nothing could be further from the truth.
I mean, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of competition, because obviously, if I even play video games with no money attached, it can be heated. Like, you try to win, right?
Little Gallup Racer.
So yeah, so like,
Migliori taught me to play Gallup Racer years ago, the world's greatest game.
Yeah, so imagine now you're doing that, but you're doing that for your livelihood and for a lot of money at stake. So, and all that, the combination, of course, is going to get competitive.
I imagine it does. Have you been working horses up here? How many days you been here?
I've been here since Monday.
You're smiling. That means you haven't been out in the morning. You've been sleeping late and hanging out.
I've worked.
You have?
I've worked one horse since I've been here.
Really? You any 2-year-olds you want to tell us about that you're excited about? Give them something. I mean, come on. Your fan club is out here. They want something.
Next week is an exciting week for me. Like, obviously, I ride Irish Warframe to Haskell, but I also ride By the Moon and
the Honorable Miss. That's Wednesday, I think.
On Wednesday, and I think so that's a very exciting week for me. Those are probably two of the best horses.
She's been in great form.
Yeah, she's in great form.
She should be favored in there, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a competitive race, but her form, she's definitely one of the top choices in there. So it's a very exciting week for me with those two horses plus the other horses that I ride.
Getting off on a good foot at Saratoga, I think for everybody. I mean, obviously, you can have a lousy weekend and still have a good meet, but it must be, getting back, you must really be hoping that you have some good stuff coming up.
Yes, I do. Obviously, I wish I was on the favorite in each race and stuff, but I think for me, my perspective has been longevity. So I'm not going to put too much stress on the start. I want to start good. I want to win every race that I ride, every time that I ride. But I don't want to get too carried away like that, because you can start off slow and then you start changing the things that you do, your fundamentals, and then everything goes bad. So it's good to try to keep a level head, whether I start slow or start fast, and I'm just always thinking about building and just keep trying hard every time I ride a horse. And sometimes you just have to let the chips fall where it may.
Saratoga, what does Saratoga mean to you?
Saratoga is, as a racetrack?
Just as the whole thing. I mean, what other place could you come where hundreds of people come at night to come see us and preach? I think, for me, I just think there's a lot of love. It's where the fans come and appreciate what you're doing. And that's, to me, the best thing about Saratoga. It's such a positive place.
Well, I agree. The atmosphere is always very nice in Saratoga, like very exciting, the atmosphere, because there's all these people cheering you on and coming to see you ride, and you always want to perform at your best. And it really keeps you on your toes. As a jockey, it keeps me on my toes to perform good every time, because there's so many eyes on you, and it's just a great place to be. It gives you a good perception of the enjoyment that people have for horse racing, and it makes you feel like horse racing is a thriving sport.
I agree. I mean, I think it's just the best place in the world, and I couldn't be happier than to have you back as my first guest and to have you back in Saratoga. We've missed you the last few years, and I'm sure everybody here shares the same feeling. We wish you a very successful Saratoga.
Thank you, and I really feel like a winner being your first guest. That's my first winner for me.
You're the man, Raj. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Stay with us as we come right back.